Now, a proposal to turn the Ventersdorp home of murdered AWB leader Eugene Terre'Blanche into a heritage site has been rejected at a meeting of the Northwest Heritage Council. The South African Communist Party slammed the bid, calling it insulting and saying many people still lived with the scars of his actions. The AWB has not commented on the matter. Well, joining us to talk about this a little more is historian Professor Pitika Ntuli. Prof, thank you very much for your time this morning. And I think the debate about this could go on for days, but was it actually ludicrous for the AWB to even suggest this?
I think the AWB has got its own constitutional rights to do whatever they want to do. As a people in South Africa, we are saying we want to create a rainbow nation. The government has instituted a process of social cohesion. Then we have to ask ourselves, what is it that has got to cohere? I believe that the AWB's request to turn the house into a heritage has got to be accepted. Because if at all we don't accept it, we are actually wiping out the sins of Terre'Blanche. We are trying to pretend as if it did not happen. I'd like my grandchildren to go to that house and say, who is this? This is a person who wanted to wipe you out, and we have survived to come here to look at it. This is what we have fought against. This is what we have resisted. This is what we should continue to resist. That's what historical necessity requires of us to do. I
suppose the other question would be, did Eugene Terre'Blanche play that integral a role in our heritage as such? I mean, the whole of South Africa.
He really did. If you remember that the time he came into being and the AWB is there, him coming even with a bulldozer to derail the CODESA. We were living into an era of sanctified state murder squads. So the madness covers everybody. If at all we don't do that, to them, then next is going to be the de Klerks of this world, who had ordered the Eugene de Koks of this world, to murder people in Flag Plus.
So national heritage, or our heritage, is not just the positive. Heritage should be the negative as well.
Our heritage is not a black heritage. It's not the positive only. Also the negative one. Even in Berlin and in Russia, they have got, however controversial they are, Hitler museums, lest people forget that there could be evil people in the world.
I mean, then just looking at the politicians' comments on this and saying that we shouldn't even start a debate around this and that it's insulting. Would you say it is insulting to the rest of South Africa?
It is not insulting. I got educated under the apartheid regime. At high school, we're debating societies. A sword is mightier than a pen. A war is necessary. You have to argue with your opponent on the other side and hear what their viewpoint is and then resolve it. We replace that with the issue of sloganeering. And once you come with sloganeering, everything is seen as simply black and white. You are not prepared to argue. On this particular issue, we have got to realize that we are a South African people and we are diverse. We have got separate histories. We may not agree, with each other, but we cannot pretend as if that history did not actually take place.
So this should be done as a reminder of lessons learned.
That's exactly what history is all about, that we have to capture the lessons that we have to learn the lessons of what had happened before in order to avoid that, in order to know how to fight the emergence of such things when they emerge.
I mean, this will take us back, Prof, to the whole street name change issue as well. And I think that debate has been going on along the same lines of, do we change the names of, those who advocated apartheid and those who were at the forefront of it all to struggle heroes, and I think the same argument would be used.
I asked my grandchild, who was Verwoerd? He's about 18. Says, I don't know. And yet Verwoerd was an architect of the people who just wanted to wipe us out into the peripheries of history. And there's somebody that we really need to know, that these are the philosophies, the ideologies we have actually survived. I don't know what makes us to be like this. Maybe it's because we are not actually sure of yourself. And if you are dead sure of who you are, you would listen to anybody else and know that they are not going to either convert you or make you feel miserable.
Okay, so this blanket no, not a good idea in your opinion?
The blanket no, it calls for us as South Africans that we need to enter into a dialogue. The issue of that social cohesion we are talking about is about issues such as these, that we cannot wipe out. Just imagine when Mandela was in prison, if someone suggested that let's come up with a museum for Mandela, people would have opposed it. But history, a few years after that, would have showed them that they were historically out of sync with what is happening.
So what's the way forward for the AWB here? They say that they're determined to have this done.
I think if I was the AWB, much as I detest what they actually stand for, I would actually pursue that and put it actually onto the agenda. For some of the things that have got to enter into our children's syllabuses, at primary school, at in higher education, so that we begin to understand, because the issue of racism is the issue of questioning somebody else's humanity. So anything that deals with our basic nature as human beings need to be on the agenda for it to be debated and to be engaged with.
Well, Prof, I think many people would agree and many would disagree with you this morning, but that was historian Pitika and Tuli. Time now for a quick break.